While headlines swirl and royal tensions once again dominate the news cycle, there is a striking contrast unfolding in real time. On one side, the institution is dealing with renewed scrutiny, uncomfortable questions, and long simmering controversies resurfacing. On the other, Prince Harry is focused on something far more constructive: building platforms that uplift wounded service members, champion resilience, and create tangible impact across the globe. And that contrast could not be clearer. As debate intensifies around past associations involving Prince Andrew and renewed public attention connected to Jeffrey Epstein, the royal establishment finds itself responding to criticism and calls for transparency. Meanwhile, Harry's work continues to move forward with purpose, largely removed from palace crisis management and public relations manoeuvring. The Invictus momentum continues. At the centre of Harry's public efforts is the Invictus Games, the international sporting competition he founded in 2014 for wounded, injured and sick service personnel and veterans. What began as a bold idea has grown into a respected global movement focused on recovery, rehabilitation and community. Now, excitement is building around the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025. A newly launched digital series highlighting athletes' stories signals that preparations are well underway. The episodes promise interviews, competition previews, and most importantly, deep dives into the journeys of the competitors themselves. These stories matter. They shift the spotlight away from pageantry and toward perseverance. Instead of ceremonial appearances, the emphasis is on lived experience, recovery from trauma, rediscovering purpose, and building strength through sport. The format underscores something fundamental about Invictus. It is not about spectacle, it is about transformation. A different kind of leadership. Observers have long noted that Harry's approach to leadership diverges from traditional royal expectations. Rather than maintaining distance, he engages directly. He listens to veterans' stories. He participates visibly. He centres the mission rather than the monarchy. That distinction feels especially pronounced now, as senior figures such as King Charles III and Prince William issue statements expressing support for investigations and concern for victims connected to the Epstein scandal. Public conversation inevitably turns toward timing and accountability. Critics question why stronger responses were not evident years earlier. Whether fair or not, that scrutiny underscores a broader theme. Institutions are often judged not only by what they say, but by when they say it. In contrast, Invictus operates on a proactive model. It was not launched in response to scandal. It was built to address a clear need, supporting veterans facing physical and psychological wounds. That forward-focused mission continues to define Harry's public image. Support systems and personal boundaries. Alongside him is Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, whose visible support at Invictus events has become a consistent feature. She has often emphasized themes of community, empowerment, and mental health, messages that align closely with the game's ethos. Speculation sometimes arises about how closely Harry should engage with renewed palace controversies. Some commentators suggest maintaining distance is prudent. Others argue that expressions of empathy toward relatives caught in media crossfire demonstrate character. Recent discussion has also involved Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, whose names have appeared in media reporting tied indirectly to document releases. While there is no suggestion of wrongdoing by them, public attention alone can be disruptive. Reports indicate Harry feels concern for family members facing intense scrutiny an understandable reaction for anyone who has experienced relentless media coverage firsthand. His own history with tabloid intrusion is well documented. The balance between compassion and self-protection is delicate. For Harry and Meghan, setting boundaries has been central to their post-royal chapter. Choosing when to engage and when to remain silent reflects a strategic and emotional calculation shaped by past experience. A broader narrative shift. Since stepping back from official royal duties in 2020, Harry and Meghan have pursued independent ventures spanning media, philanthropy and advocacy. While critics continue to debate the move, the couple's supporters point to their growing portfolio of projects as evidence of autonomy and purpose. Invictus, however, remains uniquely personal. It predates their departure and represents Harry's long-standing commitment to the military community. Its continued expansion, culminating in Vancouver Whistler 2025, reinforces the idea that meaningful initiatives can thrive outside traditional institutional frameworks. Meanwhile, the monarchy faces a period of recalibration. Public trust, generational change, and evolving expectations around transparency create complex pressures. When controversies resurface, they test not only reputations, but also the resilience of the institution itself. The juxtaposition is difficult to ignore. While one branch focuses on crisis response, another concentrates on mission-driven growth. Healing versus headlines. The Invictus Games are fundamentally about recovery. Competitors arrive with visible and invisible wounds. Through sport, they rediscover capability and camaraderie. That narrative resonates globally because it transcends politics. By amplifying those stories through digital media, the organization ensures that attention remains on participants rather than personalities. The nearly hour-long episodes are less about ceremony and more about testimony athletes describing how training restored confidence, how community reduced isolation, how shared experience fosters solidarity. That focus feels especially powerful against a backdrop of scandal-centered headlines. Where some news cycles revolve around documents, investigations, and reputational fallout, Invictus content revolves around perseverance and possibility. The legacy question history often evaluates public figures not solely by titles held, but by impact delivered. In that context, Invictus stands as one of Harry's most enduring contributions. For the monarchy, legacy is tied to continuity and stability. For Harry, it appears increasingly tied to measurable change. Lives improved, communities strengthened, stigma reduced. Neither path is simple. Both carry scrutiny. But the divergence is unmistakable. As preparations intensify for the 2025 Games, anticipation grows not because of royal intrigue, but because of the athletes who will compete. Their journeys, spanning continents and cultures, serve as reminders that leadership can take many forms. Accountability and growth. Calls for accountability within institutions are not new. They arise whenever public trust feels strained. The Epstein scandal has once again triggered those conversations, placing pressure on senior figures to demonstrate transparency and responsiveness. At the same time, personal growth narratives resonate strongly in the public imagination. Harry's story, from soldier to founder of a global sporting movement, fits within that arc. Whether one views his departure from royal duties as necessary, controversial, or both, the results are visible. Invictus has expanded. Media projects have diversified. Advocacy continues. The broader lesson may be that institutions and individuals evolve at different speeds. Systems often change slowly, constrained by tradition and hierarchy. Individuals can pivot more rapidly, redefining their missions outside established structures. Looking ahead to 2025, Vancouver and Whistler will host winter adaptive sports for the first time in Invictus history, introducing disciplines such as alpine skiing and snowboarding alongside traditional events. The setting itself symbolizes resilient mountain landscapes demanding strength and adaptability. As anticipation builds, attention naturally returns to the athletes. Their preparation, training, and personal stories will dominate coverage in the months ahead. For Harry, the Games represent continuity amid change. No matter the turbulence surrounding royal headlines, Invictus remains a constant mission-focused, community-driven, future-oriented. Final reflections. The current moment highlights two parallel narratives. One involves institutional reckoning and renewed scrutiny. The other centers on service, healing, and global collaboration. Public opinion will continue to fluctuate. Headlines will evolve, but initiatives rooted in tangible impact tend to endure. For Prince Harry, that impact is visible in every competitor who crosses the finish line, every veteran who finds renewed confidence, and every story that shifts perception from limitation to possibility. In times of controversy, contrast becomes clarity. And right now, the clarity is this. While debate continues around the past, Invictus is firmly focused on the future. If you appreciate thoughtful analysis that looks beyond surface headlines and examines the broader picture, consider subscribing for more in-depth discussions. Conversations about accountability, leadership, and resilience are far from over, and there is always more beneath the surface worth exploring.